here, this is where the love is at. And they get us uncut. And they have a good time. We have a great guest, an incredible guest. What a story she has, too. Miranda, and if it wasn't for you, I would not have this
I
lady
just have
here.
good friends of I just have good friends who know good people.
Let's do this. You tell our friends who your friend is, because I don't want to pronounce anything wrong with the way I speak, because I sound
Oh
like a
my
bad
gosh.
episode of Saturday Night
I
Fever.
think you'll be
So
fine.
I don't want to kill this, to damage the brand. Save the show. Miranda, you do it now. Who do we have?
Today we have Sharon Ceylani. She is a vocalist who has been singing for over 40 years, and she's most notably worked with and is really good friends with Stevie Nicks. So she's been hanging out with Stevie forever and a day. And I'm so excited to talk to Sharon today because I love the idea of enduring friendship. Like, it's an amazing thing to be able to cultivate a relationship that lasts for decades. And that's just it's beautiful to me, and I'm so lucky. I have friendships that have lasted at this point over 10 years, and I feel like that's a gift. And I feel like, especially working with your friends, I want to know how that works for her, and I can't wait to hear from her. This very talented, beautiful California girl.
Bam.
It's coffee talk with the Tika. Nothing rhymes with that but chicken tikka. We name drop here with Stephen and all his friends.
YouTube, we're here. And hopefully my mouth catches up to my face, because I don't know my voice, because I don't know what's going on the internet, guys. But today we got a wonderful guest. Miranda, who do we have today?
We have Miss Sharon Ceylani. She is a vocalist who has most notably worked with Stevie Nicks for decades at this point. She's done some singing with Mick Jagger for fun too, and she is just incredibly talented and beautiful. And I'm looking forward to talking with her about her experiences and her friendship and how you make that work when you work and are friends with someone. So, Miss Sharon Ceylani.
Hi, Sharon. Welcome to Coffee Talk with ADIKA Live and our great production that we got going on. And I hope my mouth is matching my face and my voice is not behind me. Hi. How are you doing? Welcome,
Morning.
welcome,
Great.
welcome. Look, you're here. Look, we're so happy that you're here. And I want to first know, you guys, Miranda, if it wasn't for you, we would not have Sharon.
I've got good friends.
You got good friends.
I do.
And Sharon, this is so good for you, because one of our friends is not here today, and you're so lucky you're not going to experience the wrath of Corey. So it's going to be a good show today. But so Sharon, let's just get to you. Are a singer, but you've been singing with Stevie about, was it 1978? Is that around the time you met her?
Yeah, 43 years now. Yeah.
Wow.
I met her in 78. I met her in Hawaii. I was, I went over to Hawaii in 75 for a vacation, and I fell in love with somebody, so I didn't come back. And I joined a band. I joined a band, and in those days, in the 70s, all the rock stars would come into they would come to Maui to vacation. And so every time we'd play, some rock star would come in. And Stevie was on vacation with all her girlfriends, and she came into the club, and then she sat in with us. She sang a set with us, and by the end of the night, the whole island was in the nightclub. Stevie Nicks was in the at the Blue Max, so that's how we met. Yeah,
That's pretty cool. What kind of music were you doing at the nightclub?
it's like top 40 at the time. It was like a lot of Fleetwood Mac and so forth, Doobie
So-
Brothers and.
That's very cool. So it's almost like it's the first date that you never forget. It's like, wow.
Oh.
You remember? Do you remember the song that you and Stevie, the first song you ever jammed to?
Oh, I remember we sang "Poor, Poor, Pitiful Me" with
yay.
that Linda Ronstadt did, and
Yeah.
and Stevie didn't know any of the words, so I would whisper in her ear like the lyric, and I met a man in Hollywood, and she go, I met a man, so she was like rocking it, and I was giving her the lyrics, but we did the whole, she was saying for like an hour and a half with us, so and it was
Really?
really fun. And then that night she was telling me that she was had this beautiful condo on the beach, and she had the song idea in her head, but she didn't have a piano. So the next day, I called my piano tuner friend that I said, "Do you know anybody that wants to lend Stevie Nicks their piano so she could write her song?" And he goes, "I'll lend her mine." So he put his, not electric piano, like his giant spin-it piano in his truck, and he took it down to where she was staying. And she opens the door and goes, "Piano? What? Sharon? Who? What? What?" Because she had just met me. And she had just told me that she wished she had a piano, and there was a piano. So anyway, and so she called me later that day. She said, I just wrote my song, and I want you to come down here and sing with me, because I'm starting a solo band, and I'm looking for singers. So, and I couldn't really tell. She goes, "It was really loud when we were singing last night. I couldn't really tell how our voices sound together. So come and we'll just sit at the piano and sing together." So I went down there and we sang together, and I've been singing with her ever since. So.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow. That's pretty cool. That's really cool. What a great story.
And it was meant to be. If she hadn't come in that night, I may not have ever met her, because my band, I was leaving my band because they all grew up in Hawaii, and they had these dreams of going to the mainland and becoming famous. And I says, well, I come from LA, and there's so many amazing bands in LA. We're a dime a dozen in LA, but here we are the only rock band.
Yeah.
We were like celebrities in Hawaii. There was no other rock band. We got to open up for Bonnie Raitt and Crosby, Stills. I mean, all the bands. We got to Electric Light Orchestra. We got to open up for everybody. We were, and because we played every 3 nights a week at the nightclub in Hawaii, all the rock stars would come and see us. Now in LA, we would have never had anybody come and discover us, So David Bowie once befriended our band, and he bought us a PA because he couldn't hear the vocals. He bought us a PA. Of course, we never bought the PA. We just split the money up because we were, starving musicians. But he did give us the money for that.
Aww.
So I said, "You guys can go to California and do what you want, but I'm staying in Hawaii." So if Stevie, that was the last night we were playing, and if she had not come in that night, I wouldn't have met her. So I think it was meant to be. Yeah.
That was meant to be. How cool is
That's
that?
beautiful. I love that.
Wow. It is. It's just having a good time at the club, doing songs, and meeting the future. Just walking in there, like, wow. I mean, that night changed your life. It really did. It really did.
Because she said, "Come back to LA," and I said, "Okay."
Right. If Stevie Nicks asks you to go to LA, it's different than pretty much anybody else asking you to hop on a plane.
That's right.
Yeah,
I mean,
we pretty much started working right away. She had to go on tour with Fleetwood Mac for a year, and she actually took me with her as her a wardrobe mistress for the band, assistant. And she goes, "One day I'm going to get you in Fleetwood Mac," which happened about in 1987. They finally were taking backup singers, so that's how she got me in Fleetwood Mac. So now it's Fleetwood Mac a couple of years, then we do Stevie a couple of years. Fleetwood Mac, we go back and forth for the touring. So,
well, so you, because that time at Stevie's career, Fleetwood Mac was busy. They were a lot of work. They were pretty busy, huh? Around that time.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Gosh, we've been working solid for, like I said, with Fleetwood Mac, 1987. Yeah, but they were just having their Tusk albums, so that was a big tour for them. But yeah,
huge tour. Yeah.
Stevie asked them, she goes, "I want to do my solo career because she's a prolific writer, and when she's in Fleetwood Mac, she only gets like 3 songs an album, 3 or 4 songs an album, because there's 3 writers, Lindsay, Stevie, and Christine. And so she had all this body of work, so that's why she started doing a solo record, and so." Her songs can get heard by the world. So. And Fleetwood Mac was very cool about it too. They said, "Okay, you do that," and so we would 1 year Stevie, 1 year Fleetwood Mac. So this last year, COVID year, we were supposed to be out with Stevie doing several big stadium shows, but of course got canceled because of COVID. And we just finished 2 years from with Fleetwood Mac. We went around the world, Europe and Australia, and did a huge tour with Mike Campbell and Neil Finn from Crowded House, and they did a great job filling
Wow.
in for Lindsay. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Campbell, another great talented guy, and so you obviously met Mike from when Tom Petty did "Stop Dragging My Heart." Is that around the time you met?
Yeah,
That's a wow.
yeah. In fact, the very first album I sang on was a Tom Petty album because Tom
Wow.
had asked Stevie to come sing backgrounds, and she would always take me too. So, so we did on one of his records, we sang a couple of songs, and then we did the backgrounds to "Stop Dragging My Heart Around." Yeah, I was
Amazing.
there. We were all babies.
I love that.
What amazing.
I think I was 22. It was 1979. I think.
1979. Wow. Okay, Sharon, I gotta tell you something. All the music you're talking about right now, I cannot fanboy out enough, and it's like I probably would lose. I probably couldn't even keep an interview together if I had you and Stevie in the same room, because all the stories, these are memories of my life. That Tom Petty, Stevie Nicks track, "Stop Dragging," it was such a big thing, and at the time MTV was really big. You had was it MTV? No, you had it was, what's his name, America Top 10, Casey. He played the
Casey
video all the
Kasem?
time. Yes, yeah, they had that guy, but it was such a powerful
MTV just
song,
started,
and
yeah.
it was just starting, I think. But these were when music was just really in vinyl. It was still the vinyl coming out, and you'd hold the record. I would stare at the album, the records, and God, it's so much history. Great. So you in the rehearsals with them? You're able to sing in the recording? Wow.
Yeah,
Incredible.
I watched Stevie and Tom do that vocal together. Yeah, it was
That's
magic.
it. That
I
is
love
magic.
that. The
What was
first
that?
time, oh,
Yeah. Oh
the
no, go
first,
ahead.
the first time I actually ever realized Stevie Nicks was a solo artist, and granted, I was probably like 4 at the time. Um, uh, it was the Tom Petty "Stop Dragging My Heart Around" track, and I'm like, Stevie Nicks, she seems like a wild and crazy woman because she was a wild and crazy woman in appearance at the time, and then my parents were like, no, she was in a band called Fleetwood Mac. I'm like, oh. And then of course they educate my 5 and 6 year old self about it. One of my earliest memories is seeing the Belladonna cover, that album.
Yeah, yeah.
I think because my mom was mad at my dad, so she was trying to sell it at a yard sale because my dad really likes Stevie Nicks. But it was it's an integral part of my music education was hearing the Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks track, and then kind of falling in love with the sound of her voice, and I love him, and then going back and becoming a Fleetwood Mac fan, of course in retrospect, and it's been just such a really cool journey to watch. And I was an MTV VH1 kid. I watched all the behind the musics and like pop-up videos, so I know too much random stuff about
You know
all
too
of
much.
it.
I know it's funny to hear your era of it, because I remember when these records all first came out. So I remember when Rumors took over that record was and there's not one bad song on that, and it's my favorite drum track. The drum sounds of the Rumors, the drums. It's the one thing that sticks out, and the songwriting is so great, and just you'd stare at that album, and you just the whole thing, Rumors, and you see them in the back. Well, who's with who? What's going on here? Who's married? It's like it was almost like a soap opera album with this. Am I wrong, Sharon? It was
Yeah,
incredible.
no, you're totally right. Yeah. Well, all the songs on that album were written when they were all breaking. Like Lindsay and Stevie broke up right when they got famous, right when that album was made. Go Your Own Way. That song was written about Lindsay's writing it to Stevie saying "Go Your Own Way," and Landslide was written about Stevie was trying to decide, what to do. Like, should I stay in this relationship? This is what she wrote Landslide before she was in Fleetwood Mac, and
Yeah.
it was actually like, am I going to stay in this relationship? Am I going to, because of or stay in it because of the music, or what am I going to do? And then, so all those songs were written about each other. And I think Christine McVie and John McVie were breaking up at the time too. So it was, but they knew that they had to stay together because as a band because of the music. Yeah.
I mean,
It's amazing that they made it.
that they wrote. So Landslide, that was written before she was with Mac.
Yeah, it's a
Wow.
great story. She, I think Lindsay had gotten a gig with the Everly Brothers and had to leave Stevie for 3 or 4 months, and because they needed the money, so he took the gig, and obviously it was a great gig. The Everly Brothers, his dream gig, and so she said, "Well, I'm going to go to Aspen and hang out with friends, and And so she went to Aspen, and they had met. She was with her girlfriend, and they had met these people that had this beautiful house up in the hills in Aspen, and you could see the snow-covered hills, and they were all going to go to dinner. She goes, "No, can you guys go? I just want to stay here and write a song because this is such a beautiful setting." And they went to dinner, and she's in this gorgeous, beautiful house with this view of the snow-covered hills, and that's when she wrote the song. And she was trying to decide about what she was going to do about her and Lindsay, because they were not happy as a couple, but the music was more important, so. And of course, Stevie's father thought it was about him because her father and mother had given her an ultimatum, like they were paying for her to try the music thing after college. But if she didn't, they were giving her 6 more months, and then if she was gonna not go back to college, then they were gonna cut off the money, and you got to get a job and all that. So she had to decide if she was going to go back to college and give up the music thing or what. So she had a lot of decisions to make, and that's what that song's about. Yeah.
Okay, that's not on Behind the Music from VH1, so thanks for that.
No, thank you for
Got
that.
some insight intel.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful story.
It's on something. Stevie has told that story on something. Yeah. We actually just been the last Stevie tour we did in 2017. Stevie filmed, and it's out now. It's out on DVD and CD, and I think she tells a little of that story. Just
She does.
Yeah, because it was a tour where she would tell a story and then she would sing, kind of like storytellers behind the music. But a lot of the people in the audience would just love to hear her talking about all the stuff in a concert format.
But
that's out right now. That's out. That DVD is out right now for people to if they feel like they need a concert, they could go get that one. It's called 24 Karat Gold Songs.
Beautiful cover.
24 karat gold, that is. Okay. And I believe, boom, it's right here.
Oh yeah.
That's right there. And look, Inside Stories, Reverend Jenny loves it. You get a lot of the ladies in here making a lot of comments about you right here. Saying beauty tips, they love your skin, that you look beautiful. You got power women here. There's a lot of great comments, and these are great stories. So everybody, please check out Stevie Nicks, the 24 Karat Gold Tour. Great. Is that on vinyl by chance?
It is. It has vinyl. Yeah. And
it is.
And it's a DVD and a CD. But she was actually putting it together, and she wasn't able to finish it when we went on the Fleetwood Mac tour this last before COVID, and this year she was able to finish it because what else are we doing? So,
that's great. Here's a great picture of you guys right here. Right here, there's a picture of you guys.
That's in Hawaii, yeah.
Gosh, you're such babies.
Babies.
Wow, look at that. Is that when you first met her around the time, or is that?
No, that was maybe a year after I met her in '79. That was on the Tusk tour, and we played Oahu, and that was on our balcony in Oahu. Yeah.
Great photograph. That's a great photograph. Look at that. And then over here, here's another great shot of you guys.
And this is from when Stevie. This is from an album, but that picture was from her wedding. That's her when she was married for 3 months. That was
Oh,
her wedding day.
That was a
And
wedding day. Okay.
That was a wedding photo, but I think it made it to the back of an album. Yeah.
That's
That's
funny.
That's
We've all
great.
had 3-month marriages in our past. Don't hold
That's
that
great.
against her.
And now the lady next to you, and is that her other singer? What is her name?
Yes, her name is Lori Nicks, and
Yeah.
her name at the time her name is Lori Perry, and but she ended up marrying Stevie's brother, so now she's Lori Nicks, and so and um,
That's
yeah,
pretty cool.
she's been with Stevie as long as I have.
That's pretty cool. She's
Yeah,
a Nixon.
in fact, Stevie found me, and then she needed one more singer, so I remember when she had found Lori, um, she was all. Lori had put vocals on this beautiful song and sent it to Stevie, and very ethereal vocals, and Stevie just loved the sound of her voice. And so the three of us has been with Stevie for 42 years. Yeah.
Wow.
That's so beautiful. And you work together and you still like each other? Tell me about this.
Yeah.
Well, it's family, you know. It's like
She's
a
not
family.
gonna- yeah, she's
Lori
not
and
gonna say
I
it here.
argue
Yeah.
like sisters. Lori and I, bicker like sisters, and but that's just our dynamic. But Lori has not done the live thing for a while. She had a daughter, so we started getting other singers to do live, but Lori would always do the recording, and she still is singing now, doing the recordings, and we just did. I sent that to Miranda, a song that Stevie put together to inspire
beautiful.
people to vote, called "Please God Show Them the Way," and she just wanted to put the song up that she had written years and years before, and we were doing a show for the Clintons. I think Hillary was surprising Bill with Fleetwood Mac, who was his favorite band, at the going away party, because when he was leaving office. So he thought he was going to see like Aerosmith or something, and was ending up like being a surprise for Fleetwood Mac. Anyway, we were there, and Stevie, the night before the show, Stevie had this dream about the Kennedys, because we had gotten a beautiful tour of the White House, and she had this dream about the Kennedys and Martin Luther King, and all just planning, good things for the world. And she was just wanting. She had written the song years and years before, but she had thought it would be perfect to put it out before the election, just to inspire people to vote, and also as a prayer. Please God, show them the way. Please God, show these politicians how to make the world a better place. So it was an inspiration, and Lori and I got together and did the background vocals for that, and that's such a beautiful song. And
It is
you could
an
check it
amazing
out
song.
check it out. I think you can see it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Thank you for sending that. It is very moving, and it is absolutely a prayer. And that was a song when you listen to, and now knowing more of the backstory, I really feel like songwriters have a direct line to some grand creative universe that they just get channeled messages into. And I feel very much like that was one of those tunes. And I hope everybody listening right now can go find that on YouTube. I'm sure we'll put the link in the post show. But it's beautiful, and I love that Stevie Nicks has such a plug-in to that, because clearly she believes in writing down things and creating from that. I love that whole process.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
she doesn't like to be political, but she just felt she needed to step in for this situation.
The universe is calling.
Yeah,
for it.
vote and
Yeah.
Yeah.
try and vote for the right one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I think we have a clip, but let's see if I could probably try to do 4 seconds of it, because the copyright police out there will mute us. That's the problem. But let me see if this is it. And if this is not it, I could always edit this out, because we're here. We're friends here.
Cameron Crowe did the video. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Cameron Crowe.
Yeah.
Almost famous. Wow. That's really cool. Yeah. Excellent. Let's see if this is it. I think I have it.
Spirits all give them the strength
You think the police, copyright people, will come after me on that
I
one?
don't know because it's on YouTube, so doesn't that make it public domain?
You know, it's so weird, Sharon.
I don't know that. I should have found out before
you,
I sent it.
no, it's okay. But you want to hear something funny? We had a musician on here. He played for a short time with Guns N' Roses. His name is Bumblefoot, this incredible guitar player. But his interview was all, he was kind of nervous without, so he had the guitar with him. And I mentioned the thing about Laverne and Shirley, and he was just going into songs on the, and he picked up Laverne, Shamil, Shamazel, and we're gonna do it. And he did it with acoustic guitar. I got a copyright strike on it, believe it or not. Yeah, it's so crazy. You can't even do anything. So I'm experimenting with that. But I will put the link in if all the viewers out there, please, you'll click on it because there's a lot of good stuff over here. There's a fabulous thing. I did a little snooping, Sharon. There's a tape. There's a YouTube, because everything's on YouTube. YouTube exposes us all. But of you singing with Stevie, and you know what? Watch this really quick.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's all I could play, but it's so good of Leather and Lace, and you and Stevie singing together. Have you heard that one on YouTube?
Yeah, it was just that was when we were first recording that song. Yeah, because that's Leather and Lace, and we were doing her vocal, and they needed me to just kind of cover the John Henley part until he came and sang his part. John Henley from the Eagles came and sang that with her, Leather and Lace. Yeah.
Oh, you did such a great job.
That was amazing watching them do their vocal together.
I gotta tell you something now, because you singing with her, I thought that was amazing. I was like, I want to hear your voice. So you hear Stevie, which Stevie is the queen. She is really the queen. You hear her, she's so emotional. Her songwriting, everything about her. She's just. I have actually a big frame of Stevie in my living room of her playing, doing almost a twirl. It's like an outdoor concert. It's just fabulous. But then your voice came on. Now I'm like, oh my goodness. You have two queens singing together. I mean, your voice is just fantastic. It's beautiful, and hearing that.
It's a good combination. We don't have similar voices, but they sound good together. And then you put Lori on top of that, and we've got this magical sound that I'm lucky enough that Stevie has always, loved that sound that we have. She's always wanted us to be. When she first met me, her vision was a girl version of Crosby, Stills and Nash. So
really,
we have those harmonies, and that, so all throughout all of our records, we have these, intricate harmonies, and she's always, I'm very lucky to have been always, asked to do the tours and do the, I'm very lucky.
I mean, you think about.
Yes, Miranda, to answer your question earlier, what's it like to sing with your friends? And well, first of all, it's so much fun because all you do is laugh the whole time. And the first album, Belladonna, drove Jimmy Iovine, our producer, crazy because all we would do was laugh the whole time. And it was fun for us, but it drove him crazy because he was trying to, come on, time is money,
He is a producer.
And we still have fun. We still have fun doing it, and we laugh a lot. And Stevie's solo bands, we have live, we have so much fun because all the guys are so funny. David Mack is fun too. We just, it's all about having a good time, but the work is very fulfilling and meaningful, and that's what I appreciate the most about working with Stevie is she's given me a lot of joy, and sharing her music with me creatively. It gives me a creative outlet too. Because I don't write songs myself, so but I'm glad that she shares her music with me, that I can have that creative outlet for myself. I feel like I have done some good work in the world too.
You have. You absolutely have. Thank you for telling us that. I've never read an interview with Stevie Nicks about anything that made me think she was anything less than a fun person to be around, and her love of dogs and her friends, those are the things that always come up. And I just,
She's the most loyal person in the world. Yeah, she's so loyal, especially to Lori and I. Yeah,
that's
she's
beautiful.
incredible. Yeah.
I love hearing this because I have this picture of Stevie Nicks, and even when there's times when I was feeling down, I listened to her voice, and it would really pick me up. Even a song that was deep to her, that she was going through her hard times, and Landslide's a perfect example. That it's a type of song that I'll sit and listen to and just stare in my backyard, or stare somewhere where I could relax my mind. She'll take me to a place where, okay, it's going to get okay. It's going to be better, Stefan. And it's like therapy with Stevie for me. And that's how I would, those certain people as a kid when I was growing up, divorce home, there's a lot of chaos going on, a lot of unnecessary drama. Of course, the Beatles, they would take me places, a lot of uh, Broadway show albums like West Side Story. I would make believe I was on this, the couch was a stage, and I, fantasize I'm in the show. And music would take me to that other world. And when you got older, I remember when Rumors actually came out, that record meant so much. That songwriting was so incredible. And it was taking me to another dimension too, because here I was a kid growing up with Rolling Stones, Beatles. And what all those bands are, they're all male bands. Then you have this band that comes on, they got women and men in it. I'm like, what is this? And it's like it took me to another world. Wow, this is just, if not better than what I was listening to over here. It took me to this other world. I remember the era of music was so great, fantastic. It's so, I just love it all. Love these stories, and to hear that she's a good friend, and that's even makes it better, because sometimes you want to, like, you meet your idols, and oh, that was a letdown, like. And I'm sure we all have those stories of people that you thought they were saying, wasn't like that. What
Stevie's that angel sent from heaven to all of us. Yeah, and she's especially amazing when you having. My mother passed away a couple of years ago, and she was going to Hawaii for vacation. So we're just finishing a show for the Music Cares performance, and she looked at me. She goes, "You know what? I think would you like to go to Hawaii to kind of help get over your mom's passing?" And I said, okay. So she took me, and how can you be sad when you're looking out at the ocean and the dolphins are jumping out of the water and the whales and rainbows? And so it's a great place to heal from my mother passing. But Stevie, thought of that and took me, and it's just what I needed.
Yeah.
Whenever she and I go to Hawaii, whenever she takes me to Hawaii, if they're on vacation, we always go up to the Blue Max, the club where we met, which is not the Blue Max anymore. It's a pizza place now. But Mick Fleetwood built his nightclub restaurant like 2 doors down from that. So we go on vacation. We go there, and this is where we met. These are the stairs, and this is the stage. So we have that little ritual that we do, and then we go over to Fleetwood's next door and see Mick.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's such a great place. I went to that restaurant hoping I could catch a glimpse of Mick, and just I'd stare. I'd be the guy in the corner staring. But it's actually he has a great restaurant out there.
Oh, yeah. And
it's really cool.
When he's in town playing, you go any night, and he has the best band, and they do a lot of Fleetwood Mac songs, and
so cool.
Any friend musician that's on the island will come and jam. Steven Tyler from Aerosmith was there the night we were there, I think. And Mick Fleetwood was, it's kind of like, I have it to me, it feels like that same vibe that we had when it was the Blue Max, and where if you go into that nightclub, there's going to be some rock stars on vacation jamming, and then there'll be, Mick playing with his band. So it's really a great outlet for him. And right now, of course, they're not doing anything, but I think the restaurant's open, but I don't think they can play music.
The restaurant's
open. Post COVID vacation, let's go.
We got 77 Danny wants. What's the story with Mick Jagger? What's the story with Mick Jagger?
That was one of the most fun experiences of my life. It was 1994, and Mick had just finished recording his solo record, Wandering Spirit. And so every girl and every singer in town has auditioned, and he was looking for Italian-looking people. So the blondes didn't win over the Italians.
He
so
had a
God,
look.
I got to get,
He had the
like
look
all
that he
my
wanted.
blonde girlfriends were auditioning, and of course I get the gig. And so it was supposed to be a 3-month tour and then a Saturday Night Live. And so we went to New York and we rehearsed for a whole month because it was we were supposed to do this tour. And the tour ended up getting canceled except for one show that was satellited around the world. And it's actually, you can see it on YouTube. It's at Wembley Hall, I think it's called. And it got canceled because the Rolling Stones had just finished their record, but they didn't like the way it was mixed, so they had to go back in the studio to remix, and Mick had to be there, so he had to cancel his solo tour. It was very sad, but we did do the Saturday Night Live, and it was a really funny one. Mick actually was rehearsing all week at the Saturday Night Live, and he did all these skits with them. And one of the skits he did, he was Keith Richards. So he was Keith Richards, and it's hilarious. You should check it out. And then one, he was a English butler, and then one skit, and then there were several skits. He's a really good actor, so he did a good job. But he would rehearse all day, and then at night he would rehearse with the band for the tour, or for the show we ended up doing. And he was the first artist that I met that was so disciplined. Fleetwood Mac crazy, Stevie crazy, but he was so disciplined. Before he would have the band in, he would call the singers in, and he would give us a vocal lesson, and we would warm up our voices. And that was the first that I had been doing vocal exercises before, but not as religiously as he would. Every day he would make us warm our voices up for 30 minutes before the band would come in. And I still to this day do that. And Stevie does it because you have to, it's a muscle. So you have to keep it exercised. So he was the first artist that I worked with that wanted all of our voices to be opened up while we rehearsed. It was great. And plus he was so disciplined and everything. He didn't drink or smoke. And like I was telling you before, I think his body, he has no fat at all. He's, very disciplined. And to have that kind of, it's like being an athlete, when you go on stage and perform as robust as he does. He's on that stage for 2.5 hours dancing and singing. He has to have, strength. So he works out and he's very disciplined. I was because it was completely the opposite working with Fleetwood Mac. It was, crazy.
It's coffee talk with the Tika. Nothing rhymes with that but chicken tikka. We name drop here. Stefan and all his friends.
Hey, YouTube, remember, click here, click there, click over there, click everywhere. You never know we're going to be around. And remember that bell, subscribe, be notified, and all that good stuff. Because, hey, you need me in your life, right? Mazel. Bye.